Okay, good morning once again. Welcome to our ITDV OZ1. And okay, today is Tuesday and it's May 25. So allow me to share my desktop. 1 second. And when I check your activity, some of you are still not yet completed, particularly in activity 4 and some few of you in 2 and 3. So please complete that one as soon as possible because you might be doing a lot of activity at the moment, especially after this today's activity. um, if we finish this one, it won't be like as simple as what we're doing at the moment because we're going to be starting working with an application, and there will be a lot of added information there, particularly that we'll be working on more components. Right, this time, okay, this time I'll be showing you the activity number 5. So let's have a review yesterday. So yesterday we have performed a very quite quick object browser in activity 4. So which means that you'll be working with a schema from scratch. Otherwise, if I will not be providing an CSV or Excel file, so we can just head on to object browser. And of course, I will provide the table structure. That includes the column names, table name, column names, constraints, and so. So that would be much more advantage also if we will be going to merge what we had done on previous activity, like activity 2, let's say activity 3, we imported the Excel and then eventually we created the table. In activity 2, we loaded as well. And sometimes also if the CSV or the Excel, which we have providing though, it's not normalized. So which means there are still some repetition out of that. And we need to normalize definitely. So we could also work on the object browser by providing that kind of facility. Though of course it will not automatic normalize to you, but it's still a part of your planning. So this is what you have taught during your ITDB 101. So we have a first normal form, second normal form, until such time we optimize the table. And that would be activity 5. So which means it's like we are now combining 3 activities, except for the scripts, because I will not providing you scripts here. Because here in activity 5, I will provide you an Excel file, right? So that Excel file, we will plan or we will analyze that definitely that Excel file given is not yet normalized. So not like activity 3, I will give you separate table, which is you need to import automatically. It will become a table. But only the thing is, it won't be related yet at the moment because, of course, you have just created the table out of the Excel. If I have given you more than one table, or I mean more than one Excel file, which is separately, each tables are saved a separate file for Excel. And then we import from Oracle Apex, and then of course the table will be generated out of that table, out of that spreadsheet. But of course, still they are not yet related to each other. But though at the same time, the table has been created and it has already data. So which means here in number 5 might be a little different, but since I have provided you um, m underscore depth, m underscore depth Excel. So let me just open up this one first. So from the title itself, data importing and normalization using our object browser. So which means we will be working on the object browser once that we have already fully imported or imported this Excel. Let me open that one first. right? This will just needs to do some planning, of course, because this is fully on unnormalized format, which is it's still in zero normal form. Okay, so most likely some of which may be repeating, or maybe some of which are not. Okay, now this is our Excel. It's a bit longer now this time. So which means it's a typical employee, and yeah, typical employee department as well. And only is added here, I think, okay, this one. This is an evaluation. So if you will see, it's pretty much it's not normalized because there are so many redundant over there. Probably this password we don't need, but okay, let it be. So we have some location repeated over there. So we have also some definitely department have been repeated many times. And okay, so hopefully this one there's no repetitions. But anyhow, if there's still, we have to normalize. Yeah, there the job is always repeated over there. Right. Now, suppose that you have given a problem like this, and I have provided you a normalized Excel. What shall we do now on working on this? Should you normalize it on the Excel first before you import, or just directly import this one and we do the normalization in Oracle Apex? And that we will do, right? Which means we'll just dump this one first. We just import this one as, say, for example, you can assign uh, your table or temporary table, or probably that would be your first table, and eventually it will be normalized to other tables, right? So what we will do is, now since we are now seeing that, suppose this, okay, let's do some basic normalization if you still remember. Okay, so suppose we have here, this would be a key that will hold this employee name, employee job. Okay, so again, we have manager here. So which means we will be having another unary type of relationship that will come back to the same entity. All right, so again, probably this employee number, job, manager, or MGR, hire date, okay, salary. What is this? Commission is commission. And I think until over here, okay, maybe until here, which means we need later a department to be separated here. So because they are belong to that department. So let me just highlight it. This we have an idea which group that we are combining, or probably though, let me just take all of these and separated this. Oops, why I delete that one? Right. So definitely we need a department for each one of for this separate table if we are performing a first or second normal form, right? And obviously that is department no dep lock will be a separate table indeed, right? So which means let's color this one as green. So which means definitely this will come now two tables. But if you will see, if you will check, we have to have a reference from the employee. We'll name this one as employee at the moment, and this one is as department. So which means we need a department number somewhere here, so that we will have that foreign key, which is will be referenced from this key identifier of this table, which is the primary key of the department, right? So pretty much now we know that we have already two tables. Similarly, we have another options working on a separate table if we will not be working with a list of values which is static. But for furthermore, this job can be also be normalized. So which means we can also have a separate job ID here so that this will not be repeated like this. Similarly with this also, with this, I don't know, because definitely this will be unique later on because this depth department, okay, let me just copy this one again and over here. So let's divide this one down. So this will now become a color yellow because we will make a foreign key for that one. So this one is totally empty there. So this is a separate table. So now, once again, if you will also check that the manager also have a unary. So there will be also a relationship between the same table, but within the same entity. I mean, within the same table. Because this MGR are basically the position of as a manager. Most of them are managers, see. And who will be not most of them. It's just selected a few. And who will be your immediate superior? You that would be supervising you. So if you will see the a typical entity relationship diagram of unary, binary is between two relationships. So this is already binary. So which means it will just return back with the diamond shape that this employee is supervising as a list of supervisees. So that would be probably we will do for the first time. And because since we have still some few fields here, what is this password by the way? Maybe I can, okay, we'll not include the password, right? I'll just delete the password. Okay, email of, okay, I believe that this email should be here as well. I believe so. Okay, because there's an email and password, this would be a login credentials. All right. Wait. No problem. Maybe if this password and email will be another table, that would be like your username credential. So that would be. So maybe we'll just delete first for a while. Okay, you can also perform like this as you wish. But in case you want to include this one, if you don't want to normalize this one at the moment, you can just include it here in the employee table. All right. But just for the record, I'll just delete it for a while because since we're not doing login credential yet. Okay, only missing is this two. Okay, this two actually. So we have only two columns left here. So which means this one is basically is like an evaluation to whom who will going to evaluate a certain employee. So which means that that employee will be evaluating whom. So which means he will going to evaluate his manager, something like that. Right. So which means that would be another kind of table, which is pretty much it will be a third normal form. So you can see here eval maybe out of five is the maximum, and you will see that he is evaluating uh, this one and this ID, this one and this ID, this one and this ID. So which means just like evaluating peer to peer, right? So maybe we might be using another key here later, and we will also assign also the evaluatee and evaluatees, and that would be given date already there. So furthermore, maybe we will perform this one later, but what will I do is I will going to just merge this one at the moment, right? Okay, but I will just make it the same. Okay, I just remove the password and the email. Okay, so that you'll not be confused, right? So now this time, maybe I'll just perform copy paste. Oh, by the way, we need to also to remove this department number. Uh, we will generate our own ID later. And I think we're good at the moment. All right. So which means I will just import only this part of only the problem is this location, by the way. This is the location of the department, I believe so. Okay, so that you'll not be confused, let me just open up again that file, right? Because I have many things I have included there. So what I will do is, for now, I will just delete this password and email at the moment, just for the record only. But in case if this will include you, you can just add on to the employee. Okay, now what I will do is just barely, I will going to, okay, separate this one first, and I will just take all of these, right, and copy. Okay, now let me go to my workspace and let's perform this. Okay, maybe I will use another browser. Okay, it will take a bit time though because you need to analyze as well. There will be some instruction for you to work on that, of course. And basically, I will let you decide and analyze your own way of doing the normalization. It's a part of the exam as well. So it's not like straight away you will just load it like that, and there will be some instances that you need to perform your analysis. Otherwise, if you are the one who will start up your schema and you will going to be the one will provide your own table format, and that would be a different thing, right? And it's Apex, right? All right. So what will I do since I have already captured that part of these? And okay, by the way, this department number is already there. By the way, it's 10, 30. It's by tens, right? So we can also edit this one later on, but only important we need this one as a primary key. So if I will going to delete this department number, I will tell you why and highlight this one and then import this one now to our, one second. Hello, sir. Yeah, yeah. Oh, sorry. But I'm still in the middle of class. And 1 second, I will just turn off the microphone. Okay, sorry for that one. Because Sir Busker just called me up. Okay, once again. Okay, I just wrote the name of that student. Okay, once again, I will go into import now, right? That's activity number 5, and it would be on the data workshop because it would be a loading. And loading a data, I did the copy paste, right? So which means I'll going to be pasting this one. So for now, I will name this table as hopefully test employee is not yet it's not yet been given though. Wait, where is my captured? Okay, copy and paste it over here. All right, there you go. I'm now pasting it, and then of course it would be a new table, right? So it would be a new table. So I will name this one as, I think, test employee. We have it already here. Um, Probably I'll just write okay, employee. No, activity 5. Okay, that's no problem. Underscore employee, and I will do also the rest. Activity 5, the rest of the table. Okay, so I will be including the first line of contains a header, and I think it's already there, right? So for now, you will notice that this will have an automatic primary key because this is an imported file. But I will let you know how to perform that one later a bit, because we will keep that one, or we will make one unique unique constraint in the seat number, right? I mean in the employee ID. Okay, let me load this one. Remember the name of the table. I will start all the time activity 5. Okay, load, and it should load. Yeah, 18 records should be successfully loaded. No, that it's already done. And let's go back to our table. So remember that we have analyzed the table, that we have pretty much a normalized one. So which means I just not included the two tables in eval and eval date, because this would be another pretty much like a third normal form for evaluating his or her evaluatees. So which means they are evaluating the advisor, and I mean the manager, or between the employee and the manager, right? Now have a look on this data. We have loaded in our temporary. It would not be temporary anymore, because we will make another table out of this table, and that would be department, jobs, and I think location as well, and location. Again, we will create three more separate tables that will normalize our job. Then this will be another. This will be changed into a foreign key eventually later. The other one is department. That's why the reason why I removed the department number, which is 10, 20, 30. We'll just keep it as for now is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Like that. And this will become a foreign key later, and this will be converted into a department number once that we perform that normalization, and even this location if you want also to include. Okay, so how can we perform that one? We are now performing normalization. We're about to perform normalization within your object browser. So we can see that facility from the table tab, and you can see here as a create lookup table. By the way, before we jump it there, have you noticed that we have added ID column as a primary key? Now the question is now, what should we do in our emp number so that we could avoid of redundancy here? So we could add a constraint here later. Maybe we can make this one as a unique one, right? Before performing this create lookup table, and hopefully we don't have multiple entry there, because if there are, definitely we cannot do unique one. Let me check. King, Blake, Clark, Jones, Scott, Ward, Martin, Adams, James. James is also there. No, Paul, Ethan. I think it's there's no redundant here, so we're good to this one. Before we perform this normalization, okay, I will perform first. Make this employee number or empno as a unique one. So we can perform that one via this constraint. If I click this constraint, you will see automatically that our primary key has auto-generated during the object is it was auto-generated during the importation because we have been added one column which is ID. And at the same time, this is a check which is not supposed to be null, right? Which is in the ID, yes, in the ID. So this time we will create a new one. You will going to create, you're going to create a new constraint, and we will name that one as table name, right? Constraint, yeah, constraint underscore unique or UN, right? Activity 5 employee, that's the name of the table, underscore constraint, underscore unique, or we'll make it shortcut. And I will go into select the type of constraint as unique, and which one is the column will be assigned set as a unique. And that would be, yeah, it changed the interface. And that would be the employee, no. So that would be only our first, it's a mass, first column. Otherwise, if we still have more unique columns there, you can mention still here, but only we have one. Okay, the name of the constraint would be activity 5 underscore employee underscore con underscore unique. Or probably if you have more than one unique, you can make UN1 or UN2. But for now, I'll just keep it to this name. Now click next and add that constraint. And literally what you have done is you have altered the table by by adding a unique constraint on the employee. It won't show you on the table format here, but it won't see you only in the constraint. Right. See, now it was created. We have a unique type. So it's easy to perform only unique, especially if you are only adding or altering the table. Right. So I think now we can go back now to our table and let's perform the first, oh no, on the data should be, we'll perform the first, what do you call this one? Why in the data? I'm sorry, in the table. We'll perform our first create lookup table. And let's review again. We will perform first the lookup table on, let me make this one big, on the job column, on the job column. And we will make this one as job ID here. Automatic, it will come as a foreign key. At the same time, this will become a separate table. We will name that one as activity and 5 underscore job. Okay, how to perform that one? We will go on to this functionality here, create lookup table, create lookup table, right? If I click this one, okay, this would be your interface, create lookup table, and of course the name of the table is mentioned there. Creating a lookup table like we are doing a lookup, which is reference to maybe from other sheets. Sometimes like your Microsoft Excel. You're doing also lookup, either internal same file, yeah, linked to that particular cell, or probably it might be in a separate file that links linked with the VLOOKUP function. But this time, yeah, it's like that also, but we will create another separate table out of that. Automatically, it will have a reference link. And all columns types are mentioned. Say, for example, it's a particular variable character since it was a variable character on the job. So which means which column, this column listed here are the allowable to make a lookup table because most likely other than numbers, it should be a varchar. So which means, of course, we don't need the lookup table for a name. This is the employee name. Right. Later, we will perform this job, department, and location. But for now, we will select the job. Select the job, and it's mentioned there as bar chart 2. So if I click next, now there will be an optional name here of the new table because if you create a lookup table, literally you're creating a new table. Literally, you're creating a new object such as index. And the most is, of course, the sequence also will be created automatically. So we'll just follow the naming convention, which I have started. I named this one as activity 5. Okay, activity 5 and underscore job. Similarly to this one also, this is a sequence. So activity 5 underscore job underscore sequence or SEQ, right? So click next, and of course it's about to complete now, and we will see now the result after we check this summary of our lookup. And then if I click this create lookup table, that table will load on your first screen plus on your object browser, which is the activity 5 underscore job. And look, automatic. We don't have job ID, remember? So it came a job ID there. And the job description is definitely, it should not be normalized. To check whether that is correct, we'll see the data. See, it was all normalized now with a separate table. So the job ID had been generated 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it's all uniquely displayed only those job descriptions: president, manager, salesman, clerk, and analyst. Just like you write a SQL statement like a unique job from this given table. Now, the question is what happened to our activity 5 underscore employee table? Let's go back to that one. So now I can search here activity 5. Yeah, so see it's there, activity 5 and activity employee. Okay, let me go back to the employee. And what happened to our employee now? Check now your job. And now it was became a reference foreign key now this time. And you won't be seeing the name of the job anymore here. See, it's not here anymore, right? So which is now we did a partial reference already because we just came across with one foreign key for this. Now, if you want to really to check if that really works, if they have a really reference to each other, you can just head onto your model, right? Of course, before we do this one, we don't have a relationship here. So, see there, automatic now, come across with now a relationship between your activity employee and your activity 5 job. Right. So we will perform again two more for department and location. Okay. So let's again do that create lookup table and see the job here is not here anymore because it's already referenced. Only these are the possibility that can be done on the lookup table. So of course we will perform department. Click next, and I will just again naming convention you so that we could see every single activity altogether if we search on the object browser search bar. I'll make this one activity 5 underscore what is this department, or make it shortcut also depth. Similarly to this one, I will name that one activity 5 for the sequence underscore depth. All right. So once that we hit this one, of course, next we'll see the summary and we're done. And automatically that activity 5 underscore job, I mean depth will be also be showing you here in front of our object browser. And then definitely we have now a primary key there. See, it's a primary key. And you check out also your data that it is as research department. Yeah, research department, sales, accounting, and operations. So we have only 4 departments. And once again, we check our activity 5. Oh, by the way, no need to search here. Just go on to the model so that you can hit also that select that particular table as well. Yeah, see, employee. What did I perform, by the way? Department, right? But where is the job now? Activity 5. Activity. Okay, I am in. activity employee. Okay. Oh yes, because we are in activity 5. So now at least we have seen that we have a relationship of activity department to activity 5 employee. If I go back to the employee, yes, I was a bit confused. You will see now the two relationships. Yes, because I'm now in the employee table. Right. Now, if you want to check once again that literally your job, I mean your activity, I'm sorry, your job, yes, I don't know, the department, I'm sorry, dep ID is now become now your foreign key. See, they have all references, right? And of course, you will still see the constraint here, the constraint added with that automatic generated though, right? It was, this is for the job. This is the name of the constraint was created as a foreign key. And this is the department ID or dep ID, and this is auto-generated because we just created using a VLOOP, right? What else we need to perform, by the way? I remember we need to do three, right? Actually, if you have option also, you can also perform this location so that we could have unnormalized also here. We don't need to type it. The moment we add a record or insert new record from separate job, table, and department, it will be also be automatically like a select list here that if this employee is updating his or her record or adding a new employee or inserting a new record. So which means this would be only depends on the list within that database content or record. Maybe we'll just perform location so that we could do the uh, unary self related table using your manager. So we'll add a new constraint for that foreign key. So let me just do it one more time for creating a lookup, and then this time is left only in name and lock. Okay, we'll do the lock or location, and we name this one once again as activity 5, activity 5 underscore lock or location in short. So same with this also, activity 5 underscore lock underscore sequence or SEQ. Right, click next, and we're done for this. Right. So definitely the fourth table is been generated, and that is the activity 5 underscore lock that will hold your primary key of lock ID and location description. See, actually, location and department is okay. It's separate, right? What is, by the way, the department data? What is the department, by the way? Now, okay, it's different. It's it's what do you call this one? It's research, accounting. Location is pretty much country or states, and the other one is what else we did. Okay, jump. Okay, we don't have any confusion there. So going back now to the model and head on to your employee table. Of course, you will find those three more tables related to that particular table. Yes, it's getting slower. Yeah, there you go. So you're about already to complete this part actually, and what we will perform in now this time in the employee is this this manager. Okay, I think I have one slide here pertaining to this. Why we need to make a self relationship. This is kind of information which I am teaching on ITDB 101, and just for heads up so that we could understand why I need to make a self relationship on the what do you call this one on the MGR, which is the manager. Okay. So better I'll have to jump to my e-learning. Don't worry, this is will only be quick. so that you have an idea why we are performing this kind of self relationship. I know this is basic, but it's a good head start also why we are performing that. And especially, of course, normalization starts with ITDB 101. Right? So let me just show you that part. Actually, I'm having this course at the moment with the diploma students. Where is that unary? Yes, there. You see this unary, right? We will perform this one. The employee, the employee is probably assigned as a supervisor, or one of the employee was assigned as a manager for our example. So that manager is will going to be supervising because he's the manager in list of employee which is under his or her supervision will be the supervisees. So which means this is an example of a recursive. So not all the time that we have a binary like this, right? But this time, of course, we have also this very case um, kind of recursive relationship type. So this is what I will do in our manager in our MGR. We will create another relationship within the same entity or within the same table, but via the MGR and the employee number. How come, teacher? Because this MGR 7839 is king. This 7566 also employee number, which is Jones. This 7902, who's this 7902, is Ford. See, maybe another one, 8122, who's this 8122? 8122. Okay, that there, it's at the bottom. 8122 was Mary. So which means this MGR is also the employee number, right? So it will reference this MGR to the employee number. And of course, he is the president. So no one is going to supervise him. That's why it's null there, right? So how can we perform that one here in our Oracle Apex? So of course, we have to go to the constraint. We have to go to the constraint. And then we will create a new one. Actually, I think this is your first time you will see this. Because we are performing constraint of foreign key during the object browser. I think during the creation of the table. This time we will just add a new constraint. Just before we start this, we have added a unique one, right? So this time we will add a foreign key. So the foreign key will be MGR. The primary key that will look on that the same table will be the emp no. Okay, let's create another one. Right. So I will name this one activity 5 underscore employee, the name of the table constraint underscore FK. So in case you have more than foreign key in that table, make it FK1, FK2. Okay, now we will select which constraint. So this time it's a foreign key, for it was unique, right? So of course, should change. Oh yeah, there, it changed now, right? So this is similar the way we done the object browser yesterday. So if we have related the table using a foreign key, right? So which means this allow the delete will be by default will be selected here for now. And the foreign key that we will going to take is the MGR, right? Because this is our reference later. And which table will going to be referenced? The same table, right? Okay, there's no search here, but let me just go to activity A. Oh yeah, there, activity 5. No, no, no. Activity 5 underscore employee. Yes. And then, of course, we will link that one reference via the no, and we're done. But not yet done though, unless you have clicked the next, you're about to complete. Because in during the creation of the table, we have add here, so we could apply If we have more than one foreign keys or constraints, during the creation of table, you can perform that. But here, one at a time. So just click next, and this should be altered within your table. And we'll check if it's there. And it was there, yes, this one. This is the name of the constraint, and it was a foreign key type, and it was enabled, of course, by default. And then this one is the rules related constraint. Table employee via the same table employee. So to check whether it really works, you can go back to your model and we can see it for self. If we have now, yes, indeed, there. So this activity 5 employee, they are all linked to this. But we have another activity 5. It might be ambiguous to you, but this is the last one we did actually because we have reference of unary, right? So that might partially complete um, your activity 5, right? That will partially complete your activity 5, but not only if we will miss this one. And what about this eval? How can you perform this evaluation? How can you perform this one? Which means each one of these employee, basically, they are being assigned or or most likely the manager assigned a peer-to-peer, or this employee will going to evaluate his or her manager, something like that. So which means technically if we will make this one as a separate table, we will make a new ID here that will hold the primary key of this. Because anyhow this could be repeated, right? I can make this one primary key here, eval ID, evaluation ID. And this one is eval. I will maybe change later into ratings. All right, ratings. And the question is, who rate this one, and to whom should this rate will be given? So, which means if I will make a normalized form for this, I will take the one who is evaluating, right? And that is probably this one, and the one that he or she is evaluating as well. The one is evaluator or evaluatee. One second. I will change the name of that one. And that is this manager. Now, I will, of course, this is now a third normal form that we might be naming instead of manager or employee. We can still modify it based on your schema. This can be the evaluator, and this would be the evaluatee. And this evaluator and evaluatee this is the one who is evaluating this. And technically, they are both employee came from employee number or no, right? So which means it's a peer to peer. It's a peer to peer. So most likely, if this is their manager for this table, of course, it's their manager. It's their manager. So which means the staff will going to evaluate their manager, right? So which is you can see that it would be redundant, right? This one also would be redundant. So of course this one is a president. So of course he doesn't have a set of evaluating. Now this one will going to be automatic later. But what we will do, we'll just leave this one and let the Oracle Apex will provide us the ID automatically. So I will going now to highlight this. Oh, by the way, this should be a number. Anyhow, this is a number though, because we will make aggregation there. Right click and copy, or otherwise you can create another table if you wish, but it doesn't matter. It's okay. And I will copy this one and then Let me just head on to our SQL workshop, utilities, data workshop, and then I will going to load the copy paste, and I will name this one as activity 5 underscore eval as a new table. Okay, activity 5 underscore eval. It's an evaluation table. And of course, we take the first header. So teacher, why you don't include this eval ID? So we have seen that every time we are importing, Oracle Apex will provide us the primary. So we will just maybe rename the column and make it eval ID if you want. Anyhow, it will come as an ID. So let me just load this one and automatically activity 5 underscore eval will be created and done. See. So let's check it out. We have now a separate table, but it's not yet related to to one of your employee or table, of course. So you see that it was an ID. So we can still rename this one as your eval ID. So rename the column and we'll select that ID. And I'll make this one as eval underscore ID. Next, finish. Right. So this time, how are we going to reference this one from the existing table? The evaluator is also the employee. The evaluatee is also an employee. So which means we can create a constraint. These are already foreign keys, by the way. These are already foreign keys. So I will make this two separate reference on the evaluator to via as a foreign key via the employee ID, employee number, and same similar to this one because we can change also this one in once that we are doing the application now. If you will assign a new evaluator, so meaning to say you will also assign a new evaluatee, something like that. But what I did only is the manager is example is your evaluatee. So let's create now a constraint. We first do the evaluator. Okay, this is make it constraint underscore foreign key fk1 because we have two, and this is foreign key and evaluator. We will going to link to this to your employee activity 5 employee table. And where was that one? Activity 5 employee via the no, right? Remember, this won't work if we don't do the unique employee number because we have ID there separately for primary key. But this one we did only like a unique. If this one wasn't set unique yet, you won't be able to do this reference. So now I will select that one. And after this one, we will select the evaluatee. Same table as well. Click next and finish. No problem. It came through. See, we have a foreign key FK1 via the employee activity 5 employee. So again, for the evaluatee, yes, evaluatee, this would be underscore FK2 and this would be foreign key and we will select evaluatee now and we will going to have link also to your activity 5 employee. One second, this is not the one. Yeah, activity 5 employee. Same also because it's a reference to employee number. So no. And then take note with the name, FK2. Okay, now we're good and finish. So this now will complete our activity 5. If you want now to check the model starting from the employee, let me just open the employee only. Okay, from this table, they are all linked to employees, of course, because we have these relationship. But if I will click now for the activity 5 underscore employee, you can see the complete schema of your activity file. So this time you will find that this activity file is now already ready for application development because we have performed the normalization. We have done this first, second, or third normal form of your evaluatee, and we added, of course, those constraints, and we have a unary relationship also within the same table, and this is now ready to deploy to start working on the application. Right? It's a bit kind of tedious, but of course, this will only allow you if I have given a full instruction what are things that needs to be done there. So probably you can do this one. Probably just completing first your activity 4 and give me some time to give that instruction so that I will put the instruction here on that this one. In the e-learning, what are the things that we have produced during this performing of this activity number 5? I will put it over here. So example activity 5, right? So that otherwise, if you want to review this recorded session, of course, right? Basically, what we have performed is number 1, okay, import, load, okay, load the data, creating new table. So we'll just name that one as activity 5 underscore employee, so that it will be the same with you. Okay, employee, right, right. Create a lookup table using job column and save the table as what is that for? Activity 5 again. Activity, at least you have also reference how we did this one as job, right? Okay, similarly, actually, this number 3 is also the same actually until number 4, but this would be job. This is uh, position. Position. No, 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 it's not position. Department. Okay, depth. What else I have given there? Department, uh, job, and location. Yes, loc. Okay, at least you have reference now. Those things that we have performed, and we have created uh, create a, a unary relation. Okay, unary. It's not a binary relationship type on uh, between MGR and temp no within, of course, within activity 5 employee, then activity 5 employee table. Right. Right. So I think the next thing that I have done though, what else we have performed before I almost miss. And I think now we have done a normalization, I believe so. I think so. Yes. We just complete, okay, perform Okay. Okay. Create the third normal form of eval evaluation table. Evaluation table. Okay, using evaluator and evaluatee. Evaluatee. Right. Um, say save as activity 5 eval. Right. So there you go. At least you have complete, not much complete, but rather it would be also be nice if you can also review this recorded session as well. Okay, so that would be completing our activity 5. So any question, ladies? Any question, ladies? Leala? Leali, the full? Right. So
No,
before you
teacher.
perform, yes, before you have to perform this one, definitely you have to complete other activities. This will be now most likely the starting point of starting working with the application. Inshallah, by tomorrow, I will use this schema, and we can start. Anyhow, it's still basic, though. We can work with some basic application tomorrow. And while you are still performing maybe this activity 5, and we will learn now tomorrow by jumping to another chapter, which will be now starting our application development. So it took us about 2 weeks to really complete this part because this is very important, dear. It's not like we're just importing. Now you have seen the complexity of plan analysis. So because suppose this is your project and totally you don't have idea what are the fields, or you will start up everything. So you will organize all your entities, your attributes, and collecting those attributes might be specifically what are the related uh, entities will be there. And I mean to say is that what are the table that you'll be providing, what are the fields and columns. And other than that, of course, we have also to do more on settings, configuration of all constraints. This is very important. And a part of that one, it so happened we have already data, and pretty much it's also good if we have some dummy data. But if normal project development, basically, of course, you don't have yet data. You will just put some dummy data or data so that you could test if your application works well. All right. So much for that. Thank you very much. If you don't have any doubt, okay, let me just mark up your attendance. Liali and Tuful. Today is 25. Inshallah, I'll be expecting you to still be joining tomorrow because tomorrow we're going to start now working with your first application. And I will show you even you can create your first application just barely a minute. A minute meaning really you can finish one application in just less than a minute. In just less than a minute. But of course not like that the way it should be. And later we will going to depends on the design that you have or the schema that you have produced. So Fatima was absent, right? So Liali and Kuful only present. Right. So if you don't have any questions, ladies, thank you very much for, of course, tuning in and joining our everyday class. So inshallah, I'm going to share this one in our e-learning so that you can still review this one. It's a bit tedious, I know, because we have so many things that we have discussed before I import it directly. So the thing is, you need to do those kind of normalization at the moment. We just only want to maximize the given data already, so that we'll not be typing again one by one using the object browser. At least out of that, we will complete the schema. that makes sense. If we used to work on that kind of method, the rapid application development is definitely will be there, right? So thank you very much. Okay, let me just turn off my sharing and stop recording. And inshallah,